Psychedelic sounds, I leave my heart down on the ground. Since I don't have you around, I'll grab a bottle off the shelf and go and drink it by myself. Say you wanna talk it out, well I don't think I need your help. Think I'm better off alone, I made my whole run on the road. I won't spend my lonely nights talking on the telephone. I find a girl at every show, but I will never let you know how much I regret the past and why watching you go, because hearts ain't smart, they're built for fools. I got my heart off your leash, but you still infect my brain. So now I'm running round in circles, cause I can't forget the pain. Like 1,000 shiny daggers every time I hear your name. So I have to get control of my body and my soul. I pick my heart off the floor like I had you twice before. Should've cared a little less, we should've loved a little more. Now we both regret the past as we're walking out the door, because hearts ain't smart, they're built for fools. Welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I am your host, Bubba Starts, and you are here tonight for Love Noise. I am joined, as always, by my co-host from Music Mogul AI, Brad Stewart. Brad, welcome in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. What's going on, everyone?
I think everybody's excited as we are tonight because we got a big special episode for you guys. Our co-host and our production crew with the mostest, Wild Willie, sharing his music tonight. Welcome in, Willie.
Thanks, buddy. I'm glad to be here as always. Okay.
Hi, sweetie.
All right, you gotta say hi and then go.
Better let the boss in. Welcome in, everybody.
Right,
hey, Monkey, how are you?
Hi, Baba.
Hi, sweetheart. It's good to see you. Tonight we're going to be listening to your daddy's music. We're so excited.
Just kidding.
Are you excited?
Hi.
Is he going to play your song?
Right.
We'll see, huh?
Right.
Awesome. Well, Cheyenne, you be good, sweetie, and we'll see you later, I'm sure, and be hearing more from the boss lady. Willie, we're sharing your music tonight, so it's a little bit different than shows in the past.
Uncle Bubba's talking.
I want to know what song is mine. What?
Yes, I don't have it queued up, but I'm going to get it right now.
Do you know which song is mine?
I do know which song is yours. I'm going to go grab it right now.
I've got it in there already.
Okay.
Dad, I want to watch your iPad.
You want to fire it up?
Show on the iPad, Dad. Come on now.
Dad, come
For
on
everybody that's not familiar with the show and its format, it is mostly us being interrupted by the boss there. It's a great time. We usually feature other musicians and invite them in. We ask them questions. We share their music, and we get a lot of great content out of it. Tonight is a very special episode, as Willie, as a budding songwriter, is sharing some of his music tonight. So really excited about this episode. We did play one of them last week on the show, but we're going to get to dig in a little bit deeper today. Now, these songs are written all by you, Willie, but performed and recorded using an app called Suno, correct?
Yeah. They performed the instruments. I put in the chord progressions I wanted, the chord I wanted, and the instruments I wanted. And then once I've got everything assembled, I put it in the Logic Pro, and I took the stems and I compressed everything down and noise gate it. I mean, I'm using everything I learned in school to make it sound a little less like AI, because my goal isn't to put this out, but it is to find people willing to perform it.
We miss you too, Michael. In fact, we miss you so much. I'm going to send you a link. And if you're available, we'd love to have you on to critique the young Willie with us tonight. So
In fact,
on your
I've got to
Facebook.
send Michael the music. JP is going to do one of them, and I've just been a little hectic.
Yeah, we don't have to get into it too much here, but I know that yesterday was another trying day for you, but you're still here, and you still have your brothers and Brad and I that are always going to support you. Obviously, Michael is here tonight to support you as well. We'll see if we can't get him in the studio and have him chime in with us and to share in the conversation. But Willie, for everyone who's not familiar with you, I want to just give you an opportunity to tell us all a little bit about yourself, as if you weren't the co-host of the show, but as if you are our esteemed guest.
Oh, well, a little bit about myself. I am like you said, a budding songwriter. I've been DJ for 5 years. I'm a single parent to an amazing 3-year-old little girl that thinks she's the boss.
Well, she doesn't just think she is. She definitely is, Willie.
Okay, let's be fair. Okay. And I'm also a college student going to Full Sail University for music production. So I've got my hands in a lot. Plus, I was lucky enough in the beginning of this last month to go to Detroit and win Sound Engineer of the Year. So a little bit about myself. I use my struggles I face to use music to overcome it and face that struggle head on.
Yes, you're the host of a great podcast yourself.
Yeah, I guess I forgot that part. I'm a podcaster. So I host Soul Impact. In fact, in the state of Missouri just last week, I registered it as a fictitious business. So now I have all legal rights to doing business as Soul Impact. So yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, great to hear. You are a guest here. Stop getting distracted by trying to produce the show. That's not what you're here to do tonight. If I see you looking at that screen one more time, I'm going to reach through it and smack you. So
I can't help it. It comes naturally.
Well, stop it. That's not what you're here to do. We're here to learn about you and to feature you and your music tonight. So act like a guest and stop trying to produce my show. Michael, any questions from you for the young wild Willie here as a songwriter, not as a podcaster or as a award-winning sound engineer, but as a songwriter specifically?
Well, I've heard his stuff already, and lyrically, he's very, very gifted. Absolutely. Like, I really like where you're coming from. I'm always intrigued by, are you, just as you're getting going, are you finding your, are you finding your path to change a little bit? Like, are you going from a certain type of songwriter, maybe evolving into another one? Like, some people go from like storytelling and then they get into their own life and then they start writing music that's more autobiographical, that kind of thing. So I'm just wondering, are you starting at a point, and where do you see yourself moving?
Honestly, I'm sticking with the storytelling because obviously that's what I'm comfortable with.
Okay.
And every one of my songs is a story of my life at some point. And to say I'm never going to leave that point, I can't say that. But for right now, I got so much to say about what I've been through because I want to be able to help people
Well,
overcome child
yeah.
abuse, whatever the struggles are. And my music all
Well,
has that message.
I will tell you, it sounds to me like you're already connecting two styles, because storyteller talking about his life is autobiographical, so it seems to me like you've already made a conscious decision to fuse the two together, and it's up to the audience to figure out which part is made up, which part is, reinforces, which part is more raw, that kind of thing. But that's good, because the more layers you can add as a songwriter, the better it's going to be. The one thing that
Michael, and I'll kind of throw this to you, being the songwriter that you are. Do you find that most songwriters kind of start in that autobiographical lane because that's kind of where we have to speak from, and then that the evolution of that grows into being able to tell someone else's story, and then kind of growing from there?
I have to say that's a fair assumption. I remember being an anthemic writer myself, because that's what I do. I have totally resigned myself to the fact that I spend 90% of my time writing anthems.
I don't feel like that's a resignation, but continue.
Well, I mean, okay. Yeah, I mean, even when my first few songs that I was writing was, I think I was writing how I'm feeling. And whether it was anger, or whether it was frustration, or whether it was love, whatever it was, it always came from my viewpoint. I'm going to do this, or I've been through this, or I'm going to help you get through this, or let's all work together and do, so it was always, and even to this day, that's the easiest thing for me to do. When I get to rally people around and base off of, I'm an emotional songwriter, so that I really don't write what, unfortunately, I can't really tap into and feel. Like, I just can't pull an experience or a story. I couldn't do a story about a man, breaking down on the side of the road and finding the girl of his dreams. I'd be like, because I can't equate to that. So it really does have to come from, for me, and even to this day, from my viewpoint, if that makes any sense. So yeah, from my life experience and everything, yeah, absolutely. And then, hopefully people like it.
And if we're being honest, most of the stuff that I have put out is actually stuff I've written years ago. I may have had to retweak them here and there.
Right.
I've always wrote poetry and stuff. So most of it is stuff I've written over the years that, when I was smack dab in the middle of whatever the song's about.
Okay.
So when I went with me going to school, I've learned how to do the bridge and construct the songs and So I'm using all that to, I may have to manipulate the home a little bit to get your chorus out of it, but most of them are just, you know.
I have a soundtrack coming out on Friday, and it was the first time that I had to take somebody else's vision and create something. Like I was, charged with making the heartbeat, and so I couldn't take it from my perspective, even though I tried to. There's a couple songs in there where I put myself in the place of a character and how would that character feel. But, my songwriting, doing just the songs that I did for the soundtrack, changed me as a writer. Because I did have to lean into finishing a product that wasn't just based off how I felt at that time or what was going on around me. I had to base it off of something that already existed. And that was kind of a neat thing for me. I really feel like some of my best writing is in that, even though my last album was so personal. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. So
yeah, a great exercise, no doubt, for any songwriter to kind of put the impetus on having to write from that other perspective. And I think that's a maturity level to a songwriter, to be able to take yourself out of your own point of view and to put yourself into another. And not that you still can't use that other point of view to bring out emotions that you felt and that you have a connection to. Maybe you aren't in that POV right now, but maybe you've been there before and you're able to kind of trace back through it. And, I think the longer you're alive, pretty much, right? I was going to say an artist's career, but it's more than that, right? It spans your whole life. So that as you grow older as a songwriter, that you're actually able to afford more of that because you've just experienced more.
I think the key to me, and it seems like I'm getting that from Willie's music, is that for me, I have to identify with the subject matter, even if it's not me. I have to be able to identify somehow, because I did my first dance song ever on this album, like, which is not me, so I think watching Willie grow and change into, I think he's just going to continue to add layers and layers and layers to what he does.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, Angela, shout out to Angela Easley, who was just playing host to Brad on her show last night on the radio there in Nashville. Appreciate you, Angela. We got to hang out while we were down at the Third Coast Music Awards together. That was a great time. Fantastic artist herself. Brought home a couple of awards from the TCMAs, and a great time. And Miss Sheena, I saw you in there too. The Middletons down there in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Some great people that I had the esteemed pleasure of meeting both in Detroit, and they took part in our Nashville showcase as well. So great to have you, ladies. Thanks so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show and getting to know our good friend Willie. He's a super producer here at the Scene Projects, produces several of the shows on top of his own, raising a beautiful baby girl who will, I'm sure, make another appearance tonight at some point. Brad,
no, she's got the iPad. She may be content.
Until it dies, and she'll be back. Don't worry. Brad, I wanted to ask, I wanted to have you kind of come in and describe, a lot of what we're kind of touching on is, very directed to the songwriter. Now, coming at it from the business side, right, with your managerial and booking agent experience, how important is authenticity and kind of speaking from a place of truth as a songwriter to the business side? Is it important, or does it not matter at all if the music is good?
That's a pretty tough question. Yeah, it's there's a lot of different styles in production. You know, I've gotten to the point where I can almost hear a song and I can almost tell you where I think it was produced. Like LA has its own sound, Nashville has its own sound, Miami, New York, Chicago. Those are kind of the main. I mean, Austin, I guess you could, probably pick that one out too. But you can, there are, I don't know, there are certain characteristics, in all of those different markets where nuances are there, as far as, how clean it is or how gritty it is, or, as far as from, the instrumentation side. But for what you're referring to on the lyrics, and, I think fans can tell when it's not heartfelt and it's not genuine. And for me, I've always, recommended that artists, Angela and I were talking about this the other night, which she does a lot of production as well. You guys should definitely check her out. She's got some really good stuff going on too. She was playing a song for me that where the artist was really letting it breathe, like it wasn't forced. It was just in that pocket really well. And I think that really translates. It's all about, I know we've talked about this before, but creating that feeling. And when that is synthetic and it's not felt, I think it lands a little soft. So yeah, I'm all about being genuine and just being yourself. And from the business side, I try not to influence too much of that. If they ask my opinion, I'll give them my opinion, but I'm not going to force it on them. I would rather them kind of figure it out and them be themselves. I have found that's, I don't try to force stuff. If they ask my opinion, I'm happy to give it, but I don't try to. And that's kind of a hard line between, the A&R, artist and repertoire division, of what managers do. And there are some people where that's all they do, that's, and that's, there's a skill and a talent for that. And I don't know, I've learned not to, that they know better what they want to do with it than I do. I can, of course, give them some tips and pointers on certain things, but I'm never going to tell them you should do this, So, certainly if it's not solicited, if they want to know, sure.
Yeah, you leave the unsolicited advice to me, sir.
That's right.
He's good at it. Just kidding.
Well, I think we're ready to kind of play our first song out there, Willie. Since you are, not just a guest, but you're also a producer of the show, you can see what I have loaded up in the queue. I'm going to let you pick which one. Now, you don't have to play it, but what do you want to be the first song here, an introduction to what it is that you do?
Honestly, I know we played it last week, but the one that's near and dear to me is the one for Cheyenne. And kind of give a little story to that is I lost my older kids to the state of Missouri. So I lost a lot of who I was. For most of my life, I wanted to be a dad. And then I lost my kids and I was lost. Drinking all the time, heavily. And the song is inspired about turning my life around again when I found out that I was going to be a dad. So, near and dear to my heart. I don't call her name in it, but, it's about her because it says monkey in it. And anyone that knows monkey's her nickname. And I did it that way. If someone did decide to write it, or not write it, but sing it. They didn't have to worry about singing somebody else's kid's name in their song in a song. So when I put it in the poem, it says Cheyenne, but I tweaked it a little bit because I am trying to sell it that way. It's more fitting.
Awesome. Well, this is Little Hands, Second Chances by Wild Willie.
There was a time I walked a crooked road, tried to carry more than one man could hold, made some choices I wish I could erase, left some scars I still see on my face. But grace found me down on my knees, right where broken men are meant to be. And the moment I heard my little girl cry, I knew heaven was giving me another try. Every sunrise feels like mercy, every prayer feels like home. I ain't the man I used to be, but I'm the dad she needs to see. Trying every day to stand up strong, show her where my faith belongs. Little hands wrapped around my heart, God knew I needed a brand new start. Yeah, I stumbled, yeah, I've been torn, but she made a better man be born. And I thank the Lord above for my little girl and a father's love. There's nights I sit beside her bed and pray the prayers my daddy said, ask the Lord to guide my way so I can lead her every day. I tell her stories about grace and light, about wrong and how to make it right. 'Cause the past they change when you believe God can turn regret to legacy. I ain't the man I used to be, but I'm the dad she needs to see. Trying every day to stand up strong, show her where my faith belongs. Little hands wrapped around my heart, God knew I needed a brand new start. Yeah, I've stumbled, yeah, I've been torn, but she made a better man reborn. And I thank the Lord above for my little girl and her father's love. Hey, little monkey, you're my world. That is strong because of you, girl. Every step I take, every prayer I pray is to guide your heart along the way. You're my everything, my reason why, the light God placed here in my life. And when I hold your hand, I see the man I'm meant to be. I ain't the man I used to be, but I'm the dad she needs to see. Walking closer every day, letting God lead the way. Little monkey, you're my heart, you're the reason I found my star. Yeah, the past tried to hold me down, but grace turned my life around. Now I thank the Lord above for my little girl and a father's love.
Yes, sir. That was Little Hands, Second Chances.
Yeah, that's
Written
good stuff.
by our good friend Wild Willie here and produced using the app Suno to bring this to fruition. But this isn't a finished product, right? And I think that's what's key about kind of putting out there today. Obviously, a ton of talk about, AI and its influence over music and everything that it could be. what I think is incredible is that until the last few years, this song would have sat in a notebook next to your bed until the day you died. And you may have never had an opportunity to even get it to this point. And to me, that is what's so beautiful about these programs that we have and this technology that we have available to us, regardless of how it was trained and brought to fruition. It's here. And now we're able to create these demos without a large financial obligation to it, to have this available to take out to the songwriter, the performers, like a like a Dalton Jones. I can't help but hear him singing that, right? Like,
yeah, we're actually talking about that. He's interested in that one and another one.
Well, and you're not the first person, and not that you even wrote it for DJ, right? Like, I'm sure that, having known him and been exposed to his music, in between the time that you wrote these songs and the time that you began the production process, right? That maybe in the back of your head that's there. But people have been doing that and writing for others' voices and doing that, especially in a town like Nashville, Brad. And you can kind of hit to this, that, there's plenty of songwriters that are out there writing for other people. And even when they write the song, they're like, oh, this would be a great track for so-and-so to cut, right? So I think the process is different now. Because it may be a lot faster and a lot cheaper than it ever has been. And, my heart definitely goes out to guys that have been working as essentially demo performers in Nashville and helping people that are songwriters to cut these to go up the chain, right? My heart goes out to them, but we all have to find a way when new things come to light. So, while my heart goes out to them, I'm not going to rail against what I find to be an incredible tool for furthering human expression. And not all songs are hits. Not all songs are made for recording and going out on the radio. Some songs are just meant to get what's inside of us outside of us.
Sure.
Yeah, and to be honest, I've been told by several people I just need to release this one. But to me, I don't want it just released, because I want this to be a song that where when it is finally released, I want it that someone that can have that heart for it. In that way,
yeah, there's
the empathy that's there.
From a songwriting standpoint, I hate you. Because you literally, it's one of those songs that you actually hear the authenticity and passion, but I also kind of knew what the next line was going to be, because it was so well put together that what you sang absolutely made sense. And it felt like a reward that I kind of knew, okay, he's going to go here with that line. It's because it's built that way. It's led up to that. So I think songwriting wise, I think, that really does honestly show you're a hell of a good songwriter. You just
I
really
appreciate that. Honestly, charting it out, I knew the chords I wanted and everything, because obviously I'm in school and I had a whole class where I had to chart the songs and do how many bars are in the intro, the bridge, and all that. So I kind of knew what I wanted going in my head. So like, I put the chords in, I put how many bars I wanted in the chorus. It wasn't just to plug my lyrics in and put it to a country rock kind of feel, I did.
This was, and that's important, because there are songwriters that just want to get their lyrics out. I have lyrics, and then they go to someone and say, can you make an arrangement for me? Because here's the lyrics. This is kind of what I want, but create a lyric. For me, I'm like you. I literally when I get an idea in my head, I grab my phone immediately and hit the voice recorder and start trying stuff out as the song is coming to me, so that I'm aware of that movement, that moment that the song is getting put together. But that just means, in all honesty, that, this is a passion project of yours. For you to, take a song and say, this is the chords I want. This is the beat I want. This is, the tempo. It's a passion project for you, which to me, I agree with you. Don't just throw it out there. I mean, because it's a good song. Make sure that it's the product that you envisioned when you first started writing the lyrics, and if you have a sound in your head, if you have a certain kind of, singer that you want, obviously I kind of laugh because I would imagine if you were a singer, that's what you'd sound like.
Hey, I'm open to them singing lessons. I'm still waiting.
You created a really hard song.
I'm open. Listen, to be 100% honest, I have actually been playing with Logic and playing with the melodies in my voice and actually trying to record it.
How is it coming out?
Horrible. I am not a singer. It's coming out horribly. Now I can add the EQs in some parts. It holds really well and all that, but on them long notes, I can't hold the long notes.
Yeah, those are big notes.
They're big notes, and there's a lot of what singers call color to them. There's it's not just there's that growl that doesn't overtake the song, but really is just there as an enhancement. It's you will find a singer that will work on that. I mean, we'll be able to do that. But to me, when I heard it, I'm like, this sounds like what Willie would sound in my head if Willie was singing this song. Sounded
as soon as I get those singing lessons.
Yeah,
it might be. But no, Bubba, to hit on what you said, actually, I didn't even think of Dalton when I was writing this. I know what kind of music I like, and that's the kind of music I was writing for. And actually,
it just happens that we know somebody that fits in that lane very, very well.
And it was actually, you're the first one that brought it to my attention when I let you hear it. You're like, you need to send that to DJ. I'm like, okay. But it still didn't register to me. And I'm probably, I ain't gonna lie, Cheyenne makes me listen to that song every day. On repeat sometimes. So I got into where, and see, that's another problem where I struggled is I never wrote these to be songs, to be 100% honest. These were always poems. Oh, wow. So when I wrote them down, I wrote it and kind of forgot about it. Well, with me turning it into the music, one of the struggles I dealt with was knowing the words, to be 100% honest, because I didn't write them to memorize them. I wrote them because of how I was feeling. And that has been, thank you, Nate. I appreciate that. But I wrote them out, I wrote them because of what I'm going through, and to be able to play around, even to be able to play around with it Logic now, comfortable enough in my abilities that I've learned at the 6-7 months I've been in school.
That's amazing.
Do you feel like that's a little bit of a happy accident with taking the classes? Because I knew that you got into school, to further your production skills, right? To go from sound guy to sound engineer, and now sound engineer of the year, that you have now found a voice for your own words and for your own feelings, and are learning skills to help you express yourself, even if you don't become an artist and releasing music, that at the very least you've been able to take these things and you've expressed yourself onto paper, but now you're able to take that another step, and being such a big music fan already, this kind of being a natural progression of those skills.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. When it comes to me being in school, I never took school to make my own music, write my own music. It was my goal behind school was I want to help independent artists. I want to become a producer to help independent artists get themselves out there and do it at a fraction of the cost. Because
that price is going up since he's got some awards on the mantle now. I'm just letting you all know. You had your chance to get him cheap.
But listen, Charlotte got on to me the other day. I was on the phone with her and I said, I'm just a sound guy. And she has heard you get on to me enough over it. And she's like, what'd you just say? I said, I'm just a sound guy. She's like, I'm calling Bubba right now. I said, okay. I'm a sound engineer. But,
well, an event planner, and I would say becoming a mentor for artists around you as well, which is a role I think all four of us on the show today, even if we don't always accept that role willingly, that we are, right? I mean, Brad's been giving advice, whether solicited or not, on in his career for decades, and Michael in the same way, especially as you got into that coaching space, right, and teaching space, that you can't help but to mentor these I would say young people, but it's not always young people, right? It's just less experienced people around you.
And actually I've kind of already experienced that on the podcast side. I was on a show the other day and a dude wasn't in the show very long, and he's like, how do you run your show so smoothly? And I said, it takes time. And I was just giving him pointers. So it actually kind of already come a little bit, not even a year. And, I was up for three awards. I mean, I never, when I started this journey, did I do it for any recognition. To be honest, I started DJing because I wanted to make the era of 80s and 90s and 70s music popular again. And I'm not just talking country. Yeah, I'm a diehard country fan, but
he's also bringing sexy back, boys. I'll just let you know.
No, you better not have that video queued up. You better not.
Don't you worry. I'll have more videos come May.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Thanks, Nate. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Nate was one of them people that got to experience me losing my kids, so through with me, and he's a great friend.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you tuning in tonight, Nate, and always being there for our guy. None of us have known Willie for longer than 9 months, so
almost a year.
Yeah, but, closing in.
This episode is kind of special today itself. A year ago, I broke my arm.
Wow.
Working on my house.
And now the arm is healed and the house is done.
Somewhat
for the most part. It's lived in, at least.
Very well lived in.
Short aside here, Michael, how are the wings?
You call them.
Why are you sharing?
Look delicious.
Nice.
Can you airmail those?
I'm trying to be subtle and be like, I'm not putting my camera.
I miss nothing. I miss nothing.
Hey, if it helps us get a sponsorship from KFC, we're all about it.
We will all eat wings every show.
I would
10-minute segment of us
every episode.
Our fingers.
Come on,
I'm a Popeyes fan.
Yeah, me too. My mom loved the red beans and rice, so it was.
So do I. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm a homemade fried chicken fan. Okay.
All right. You guys kill them and defeather them too, Willie?
I don't, but I know people that do.
I don't know.
You cut their head off and launch them
quickly. So we got some more music. And given the theme of the conversation right now, I want to play River Days and Campfire Nights. Willie, can you tell us a little bit about the song before I play it? This one's more just a fun one.
Yeah, this one is a lot about how my family cut loose as a kid. And where I felt happiest growing up, next to music, out on the river, camping.
The wing show.
Because we're surrounded by people, and that's when, anyone that knows me knows the abuse I went through by my stepdad. So it wasn't as popular with people around us. So camping was basically one of the moments where I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that escape, right? Especially when you're younger and you're not going anywhere by yourself, that those days mean even more. So River Days and Campfire Nights, we're going to listen to it and we're going to come right back. This is Wild Willie.
Before the sun came up, cooler in the back and coffee in my cup. Kids in the seats singing every song wrong. Mama laughing saying turn that radio on. Banjo picking through the morning air, headed for the river like we ain't got a care. No clock, no stress, just a gravel road ride where the water runs slow and the worries slide. We're floating down the river with the sunshine high, banjo ringing in a blue sky, steel guitar crying like a summer breeze. Kids splashing water from the inner tubes, lit cold drinks passing from hand to hand, laughing with the people that make life grand. When the sun goes down and the stars ignite, it's river days and campfire nights. Train drifting down the lazy dam, banjo picking while we sang again. Speaker on the cooler playing country loud, whole riverbank turning into a crowd. Rope swing, swinging off a sycamore tree, grandpa shouting, save a jump for me. Time slows down when the river rolls, best kind of living is a free flow soul. We're floating down the river with the sunshine high, banjo ringing and a blue sky, steel guitar crying like a summer breeze. Kids splashing water from the inner tubes, lit cold drinks passing from hand to hand, laughing with the people that make life grand. When the sun goes down and the stars ignite, it's river days and campfire through the firelight glow, banjo picking while the river runs slow. Marshmallows burning, some guy that tells a joke, smoke drifting on through the old white oak. Floating down the river with the moon on rise, campfire glow in the children's eyes, banjo strumming while the steel guitar cries, singing old songs underneath the night sky. Bet it looks just right, like river days and campfire nights. Steel guitar singing, steel guitar singing.
Okay.
I saw what you did there.
What's
Yeah,
that?
you froze up when I put you on blast.
That's because I was okay in the little box.
Lot of compliments.
very
Awesome
much.
job, Willie, from Angela. Nate says, wow, this is a song a lot of us can relate to. Gonna have to get me an autograph before he gets too big. You're darn right, Nate. He might be headed there tomorrow. So
I doubt that. We're gonna let this thing take its course.
Okay, so
Jeremy, thanks for tuning in. Good tune. Yes, sir. You got it.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Michael.
okay,
I didn't do it.
JP will slay that song. He has the range to knock that song out. Like, that's a rangy song. Yeah, I mean, you need
Say
someone
nightmare,
that
it's
with
okay.
you just really do. Yeah, that would be a song that he would. First of all, he'd love to do it because that's his childhood as well. You know, his family camped out all the time, and that was just part of his. So he could identify with it. But the way the song is structurally made, you need someone with a really solid range as well. There's some really seriously cool notes up there that absolutely add that you don't want to take away from it. So, yeah, he would crush that song.
Well, mister, I tried calling you several times. Yeah.
I'm hard to find.
I tried calling your cell phone several times.
He's live
to
on the
send that to
Scene
you.
Project's YouTube channel 6 times a week at this point.
I will look this up, and I'll find. Maybe you have the wrong number. No, don't say my number on.
Let's just test this
Michael
theory.
Cagle right now.
Let's just test this theory.
Okay.
No, and I mean, I grew up, when we moved from the Chicago area, and not that we hadn't gone up to the Northwoods of Wisconsin and camped out every summer for 4th of July. When we moved from the Chicago area out to South Dakota, we lived in a tent for 3 months while we cut all the trees down on this acre of land. We dug a hole and built a basement. And yeah. Is that your go-go gadget watch?
What are you doing?
What?
I hung up, Michael.
Was that you?
That was me. Tell me I don't have the right number.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it showed up and it said backwoods. And for, most of the life, the people from the backwoods haven't treated Michael that well.
Oh, Jesus, where are we going with this one?
I don't know. You can't put the four of us on one screen. It devolves quickly.
I know. I just
Yeah, there
love
was
the fact
banjo
that
in
he
that
was
song.
like,
Didn't you hear it?
I just love the fact that he was like, hello, hello, hello.
Okay.
After already
Anyway,
hung up.
okay. No, we will talk.
See, look,
That is a-
not showing the number. Not showing the number. Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go. All right.
Well, yours doesn't come up. I probably saw it and thought, okay, it's a telemarketer.
Well, it was. It was just happened to be one that you know.
Okay.
He's trying to sell you a song.
Seriously, no joke. That song is amazing, and that is right in his wheelhouse. Seriously, I absolutely mean that sincerely. That when he would slay that song, and that's a great, absolutely great song.
Yeah, that is a fun tune. And Willie, I want to ask you, do you think? I mean, you had these songs written, you had these words already there. Do you feel like a year ago, because Suno and a lot of these things were already out there, do you think you could have created something as good as what we're hearing today a year ago without the training that you've had of the last 6 months, going to production school?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Because I wouldn't have known. Yeah, I would have known the style I wanted, but I wouldn't know how to break it down, and I wouldn't know the chords I wanted, and the progressions. I would not have known all that. So absolutely not.
Yeah.
Do I think I could have put it out there and made a solid song? Absolutely. Do I think it would have been able to be pulled from Suno into Logic and remastered by myself? Absolutely not. And I probably wouldn't ever have showed it to anyone.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't have been comfortable in it, because like every one of these songs I did, it wasn't just the first time getting the song and oh, I like that one. I took 4 or 5 versions. Actually, Cheyenne's song, there was 15 different versions created because it was
Right.
really
And I think that a lot of people, because most people are only using AI to develop a caricature picture of themselves or whatever, and it spits it out first try of that they think everything like that works for music. And I've had enough experience with people who are creating using, Suno and others to know that that's just not the case. It takes a lot of work. Now, obviously, you're able to bypass the decades possibly of learning an instrument to be proficient in that. But you are still working to bring this to fruition. It's not just plug the words in and it spits it out perfect.
Right.
And that's the thing. I'm actually working on one of the songs. I'm actually has it in my DAW, and I am actually using the plugins I have, and you can actually chord the instruments on Logic. So some of them one of them I'm actually chording it out. That way, if I do ever decide that I want to plug it in and play it, then I can. But I don't see me singing my own stuff. I've been told I should, but I don't see me doing that because
I will have to give you an on the house vocal check and figure out what seriously.
Can we do that live on a show?
No,
and for Michael
no.
to be like, yeah, no, you're right, Willie. You don't need to sing your own
no,
stuff.
I embarrass myself enough on live.
We know plenty of good singers, buddy. You just keep writing and we're gonna work on the rest.
I could upload you one that would embarrass the tar out of me, and we're just gonna leave it on my computer. Okay.
Well, when I work with people, it's a complete safe zone. I don't care if you mess up. The only way that I can tell if somebody can or can't is if they just go for it. I get a lot of students that they'll hold back. They're afraid of singing in front of me, so they'll hold back. And I'm like, I can't tell what you can do because I can tell that you're not really doing it. I'd rather hear you crack and make mistakes going for something than hold back and I don't know your potential. So give me a song right now. Sing me something.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. No, just kidding. Oh boy, you're put me on the spot.
Yeah, I'll just, you know what, Michael, we'll just have him. We'll play one of the next songs, and
no,
we're gonna do it, and we're
gonna do one that I know, and I practiced the lyrics on, and it ain't none of those. All right.
What kind of music? What kind of?
Hold up, I'm working on it.
Okay.
Brad, would love your take on some of the things that we've been, talking about in here, the process and the progression of Willie's career, albeit very short.
I've just been, as you guys have been talking, I've been sitting here thinking, like the work that is done before you go into a studio is massive. Like the pre-production side of things, you almost like bypass. I mean, I know you're still doing some of that, but that is a very critical part that, Suno kind of allows you to skate through a little bit on, and, getting the right, key, and there we go. Getting the right chord progressions and the right structure, and making sure it's in the right key, and mic placement, and like there's so many little things that go into pre-production that a lot of people don't realize. And
I would take that even to a lot of bands that are writing songs, you know,
Yeah.
in their rehearsal space, and they're coming up with it, and they think that they're going to like refine it in the studio. The problem with the studio is that once you're there, the meter's running.
You're
right?
on the clock. That's right.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not an Uber, it's a freaking New York City taxi cab, and
Yep.
that it is running.
Listen,
And that engineer doesn't care. They are not there to help you get the most out of the song. You know, now if you're working on a record label's budget, which who is these days anyway, and you
Yeah.
have a producer that's trying to help you massage those, right? Like the days of the Rick Rubins being with a band for weeks on end as they record, like that just doesn't happen anymore. And I think to the detriment of the music business as a whole.
Yeah. I was also just thinking about, you know, I know we talked about how the songwriters might be feeling some pressure. You know, it's also the session players, you know, the hired guns that are hired to play when an artist doesn't have a band, and they can just hire the session players to come in, and, you know, that is another talent.
Well, because a lot of those guys, Brad, were making a living off of just producing demos
Correct.
for people, right? With no intention of that song ever being released. And like I said, my heart goes out to those people, right? The men and women that were out there, you know, creating on that scale and for that purpose. My heart goes out to them. But you either adapt or you get left behind. And it's now up to them to like, well, what about all those things that you were creating in that time that you wanted to bring to fruition, but you didn't necessarily have the money to pay other people to demo that? Now you have this opportunity and you have access to these tools to create as well. And I guess that's why I'm kind of like, I can be sympathetic to the situation, but also what are you creating and how are you going to use the tool for your own benefit?
Right.
See, this is what I want. I want to be able to use that, what I've created, to find the people that are talented enough to actually put that down. That's why I don't want to record anything I've created or put it out there, because, you know, hearing it, playing it here or on other reviews, that's one thing, but to like actually physically go out and release it where people can download it and whatnot, because I don't want to take from them people. I want to be able to say, okay, this is how I want the song played. Now mimic that for me, you know, kind of thing. Yeah. So basically,
I think in some ways, Willie, as songwriters and creatives have for years, that we can empower these session players and put them on some really good records without, you know, having to, you know, put them in competition up against the AI. I think that it is a tool and it's opening more doors for collaboration, because it's allowing more people to get that songwriting bug kind of biting them in the ass.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I don't want to take from them people. I just know what I want. And in fact, I played Cheyenne's song for my professor, my last professor I had, and he actually played guitar, and he is a steel guitarist. And he's like, when you get ready to let me record that, let me know. And I would love to be able to lay the steel guitar tracks for you. So,
wow.
So I don't.
And Willie, let me address that, since you brought up your teacher, and we know you're in school, going to Full Sail University. I think one of the more premier, especially online schools, and you know, especially for production and performance. What is the vibe that you get from not just the teachers, but from maybe some other students that you're around as well about the Suno and AI music generation in general?
Actually, it's been really encouraging. Like, I don't talk to a whole lot of people I'm going to school with, but there's been a couple, and they're like, man, I know artists. And so it's actually opening doors to where I'm getting my music heard from people outside of my circle. So my circle is initially getting bigger because here it is. There's a guy that lives in Winter Park, Florida, which is where my college is at. And he says, I know people down here in the music industry that would absolutely love this song. So connections are being made. So he's like, and one guy told me I should put it out there. No, I don't want to, because for the reason that Brad said, I don't want to take.
And also I don't feel like, oops, sorry, cat, took a tumble. That you are not chasing an artist career, right? It is not your dream to be someone who is on stage. And even if you got thousands of hours of coaching and teaching from Michael Cagle, would you even be comfortable with that?
Absolutely.
Did you say millions of hours, Michael? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Listen, absolutely. And I got a song keyed up. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but I'm not doing anything a cappella, so I can guarantee that. But I'm going to play you a song and sing you a song, and it's going to be horrible, so get your earplugs.
Should I grab a chicken wing?
Sure, grab your chicken wing so you can have dinner and a show. And just so happens, it's one of my favorite songs. It's a Randy Travis song. It's Three Wooden Crosses by Randy Travis. Love the song, always have. So shoot me later. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear the audio, so it may sound horrible. Get me out of the big box, please.
You're so funny. Get me out of the big box.
Farmer and a teacher, a hooker and a preacher, riding on a midnight bus bound for Mexico. One was headed for vacation, one for higher education, and two of them were searching for lost souls. Driver never ever saw the stop sign. An 18-wheeler can't stop on a dime. There are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Why there's not 4 of them, heaven only knows. I guess it's not what you take when you leave this world behind you. It's what you leave behind you when you go.
Okay.
The farmer left the harvest, a home in 80 acres, and faith and love for growing things in his young son's heart. And that teacher left her wisdom in the minds of lots of children, and did her best to give them all a better start. Preacher whispered, can't you see the promised land? As he laid that bloodstained Bible in that hooker's hand. There are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Well, why there's not 4 of them, heaven only knows. I guess it's not what you take when you leave this world behind you. What you leave behind you when you go. That's the story that our preacher told last Sunday, as he held that bloodstained Bible up for all of us to see. He said, bless the farmer and the teacher and the preacher. Give this Bible to my mama who read it to me. There are 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway. Why there's not 4 of them, hell, I guess we know. Not what you take when you leave this world behind you. What you leave behind you when you go. 3 wooden crosses on the right side of the highway.
Bravo, Willie.
Okay. Well, first of all, I
am the singer.
commend you. Seriously, you are fearless to be to be willing to sing just and jump into it. I commend you. You don't have a bad voice. You really don't.
I don't have a great one either, though.
First, there's a couple of things that were working against you. When you're nervous, which you were,
I was really nervous.
yeah. When you're nervous, no matter how hard you try, the tremolo in your voice, you start getting a little shaky. That just happens. And then your breathing goes to shit because you're all nervous and I don't want to be here anymore, but I've committed. So, but there were things about you. The tone was good. For the most part, you were on pitch. There were a couple of times you varied into your own lane, which sometimes works.
They're from Missouri. They don't even have lines on the roads.
We do in some areas. You leave me alone.
But no, you're not. But I will tell you straight up, honestly, unless you ripped off something Superman cape wise, you're writing songs that you need other people to sing only because of the difficulty in the range and the sustaining. Like this song, the 3 Wooden Crosses, which I absolutely love, is a great song for you because it's kind of the baritone, laid back kind of storytelling thing that it's got a really solid, melody line. And once you bite into it, you write it well. So that's
I
excellent.
actually have one I wrote to a similar version of that song. It's much slower that I have been playing around with.
So your voice is actually lower than Randy Travis?
No. I'm talking
Slower.
instead of having all my tracks speed up like the ones I have.
Okay.
I actually have one I'm working on that is to a slower style.
Thank you, Nate. At least somebody's trying to back me up here.
Hey, Nate, don't give him ammunition.
I've been close enough. I was down in Summersville.
He's in
last
South
summer.
Dakota. Do they ever do anything right up there?
No, we do them all left turns. It's like NASCAR, buddy.
God, I feel like a wild. Where are you from? Where are you stationed at?
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, but I'm from Mississippi,
Antioch.
so I can relate to all of this.
Oh my. I'm from New York, went to Vegas, went to Nashville for almost 2 years, and now I'm in Seattle. So
Brad is south of Nashville, tucked away in some little hillside. Like it's not like he's downtown.
What city? Yeah, I know. He disappears in the camera often. He's hi. Yes. See?
He's not in the backwoods, that's for sure.
Yeah. So the backwoods, you're like, are we talking like literally no paved roads? It's like everything's gravel and
In
dirt.
some parts. In the town where I was raised here in Missouri, there's 390 people, and there's one paved road through the whole town. The rest of it's dirt road.
And they're all cousins.
No. I hibernated to get away from my stepdad or my biological father to Missouri. I'm originally from Florida. So, no, I'm not really, to the exception of the ones that live up here that are related to me. I'm not related to anyone in these towns.
That's why my wife left her hometown, was to find a breeder like me.
Wow.
That took a cold. But now I do have to be careful. But I do have to be careful because most of the people in the area that I live are related to my ex-wife.
Yeah.
So I got to be careful.
We froze
when I do
Michael. It
put
was too
myself
much.
back up there.
It was too much for him.
I'll be careful and be like,
I don't know
are
if
you
he's
related to this
physically
person?
frozen with a finger in his eye or if it's tech. I'm going to remove it from this. Michael, if you can hear me, you might have to leave the studio and come back. We're breaking the internet tonight. Oh, funny stuff. Awesome, man. Thanks for singing for us, Willie. That was really awesome, man. You're a courageous soul.
You ain't gonna lie. That was horrible. I was hella nervous.
That's okay.
I can sing in front and do karaoke all day long.
I was gonna say you do karaoke for a living, man. Like it's not that much different.
But not most of them people are drunk.
Fair. How do you know Brad's not drunk?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Are you Brad?
No, but I was just saying, how do you know? All right, Willie. What song are we gonna do next? Do you want to do When the Hope Dies? Can we do that one next?
We can do that one, but I would if we can do two.
Sure.
I would like to do She Stood Between first.
Okay.
I uploaded it in the top part. I did not realize that.
Okay. It's whatever. They're all game. Okay, so She Stood Between. Tell me about the song.
That is actually yeah, you can come in here. I'm busy, baby. Okay. But that one actually, my aunt, who I happen to be really close to, literally, she lives 50 feet away from me on the next adjacent property. Growing up, once we moved to Missouri and my stepdad got real abusive, she was that person that went to bat for me when my mom was gone. Hey, shh. Oh, we'll climb up there.
Oh my gosh.
Shh. But she was that person that when my mom was at doctor's appointments and my stepdad was abusing me, she would literally, he was 300 and something pounds. Okay, in a little bit. And she's maybe 120 soaking wet at the time, would stand face to face for him and would keep him from hitting me. So that's the story behind that song.
I love it. Well, we're going to talk a lot more about it when we come back. This is She Stood Between by Wild Willie.
I remember that old hallway light, shadows on the wall late at night, footsteps heavy, anger in the air, a scared young boy saying silent prayers. My heart was pounding in my chest, didn't know what would happen next. But before the storm could reach my door, I heard her footsteps on that floor. She didn't raise her voice too loud, but she stood there strong and proud. She stood between the darkness and me, like a shield when I was too small to be brave enough to fight that fight. She stepped into the fire that night when the world felt cold and mean. She became my in-between, an angel in a worn-out jeans. Yeah, my aunt stood between. She said, that boy's under my care. You ain't laying in one hand there. Her eyes were fire, her voice was steel. That was the first time I felt real. Not every hero wears a crown. Some just refuse to back down. In a house with fear had been routine. She was the calm I'd never seen. One woman standing in my door changed my life forevermore. She stood between the darkness and me, like a shield when I was too small to be brave enough to fight that fight. She stepped into the fire that night when the world felt cold and mean. She became my in-between, an angel in worn-out jeans. still see that lonely she defended me. And every time I find my strength, it traces back to what she gave. She stood between the darkness and me, and showed me who I could grow to be. Now when life tries breaking me, I remember that bravery. When the world fell cold in me, she was love I'd never seen. An angel in worn out jeans. Yeah, my hand stood between. My hand stood between.
Hard not to get emotional with that one, Willie. First of all, I'm very sorry that you had to grow up that way, but I'm also very thankful that you had someone to be there and to protect you, and someone that's still there for you to this day. Have you played that one for her?
Yes, I have. Several times, and she's
how
super
many
proud of
buckets
it.
full of tears did you catch?
No, that was one I wish I would have caught the reactions to. But I had read her the poems years ago, so she knew some of the words because like I said, it was a poem originally. So she's heard the poem. But now that it's a song, she's like, she gets the drinking, and it's so funny because we'll be sitting around and they're drinking and I'm not. I'm just automatically a DJ. I can't escape it no matter where I go. And
how good does it feel to have people request the song that you wrote?
Oh man, it makes me feel good because like she brags on the song, and like in that song, every scenario is exactly how the scenario went. Granted, I left out some of the graphic details, but every scenario in that song is a scenario that she has actually done and dealt with. And, you know,
yeah, I'm
I
sure
can
the
honestly,
memories that it conjures up for her, and it's not like she wasn't scared in the moment as well, but she never let her fear get in the way of her calling, which was to be your protector when you didn't have it.
Yeah. Wow.
But-
You are a, I mean, this,
nightmare.
huh?
I know. A nightmare. I know.
Get out of here with that.
I mean this sincerely. I really honestly mean this sincerely. I really mean this. I am not joking at all. You are, I can only imagine you're a phenomenal sound guy. There's no doubt about it. Your amount of detail that you do with even, you know, the way you write songs. I bet you're a hell of a sound guy, but you need to change that because you're not just a podcaster or a sound guy. Dude, I'm trying not to throw the F-bomb in here, but you are a songwriter. You write so incredibly well. Your stories are, your songs and lyrics are cohesive. They tell a very detailed story. There's not excess, there's not a lot of fluff. It's like, but you've got the thing we were talking about earlier on, authenticity. Like those songs are written and they're you. And it's like, I know you, and not just because you got into detail, but because of the way you created the way you created that story. you are not just a sound guy. Not that there's anything wrong with being an amazing sound guy, but you need to start putting yourself in a position of recognizing you're a songwriter, and that you're writing some shit that is just absolutely amazing, that anybody, any kind of person that's an artist wants to step up to the next level, they would record your stuff. Because
and that's the thing. I've had people reach out, but I'm picky. I am, because
they're important. They are your life, and they're your pet projects.
Honestly, the next song we're gonna play, we don't have to play it right now, but the next song we're gonna play, I thought of JP after I wrote it, and that's why it's the one I really want him to record.
Okay.
But I'm kind of picky because you want a banana. Well, we'll have to go to the store and get any. We don't have any bananas.
Ask her if she wants a plantain.
Are you going to deliver the plantain? She probably don't even know what a plantain is. I know I don't. She don't like
the words right out of my mouth, Willie.
Hey, at least I'm honest. Did we forget I was raised in a town of 390 people?
And they didn't have no stinking plantains, Michael.
They were
okay, so out of all of you, which one of you lives in the most Dukes of Hazzard?
I didn't even live in town. I lived in the middle of the woods. So maybe me. I don't know. My town was bigger, but I didn't live there. I lived 10 miles outside of town in the middle of the national forest on a single street with like 8 neighbors.
So he had the moonshine.
Well, we were growing something else, but
okay.
Oh, he was out on Top Grant Road.
At least somebody was trying to. At least somebody.
But no, I appreciate that, Michael. That really means a lot.
You really are. Seriously.
Yeah, he won't say it. I will say you're a fucking good songwriter, man.
See, and I didn't want to swear because he doesn't like swearing, so I was.
It's my show, and if
our show, buddy,
if she's gonna learn it from anyone, she can learn it from her Uncle Bubba. So, be what it may.
She already picks up language. She's in public school. She's in public school.
You have a skill for storytelling, and I think that's the part that gets lost when people are, and especially I think it happens to young artists, that you're trying to write a hit song, and it doesn't happen like that. You have to write what you feel. You have to write from a place of authenticity, and then those songs become hits, whether it's you singing it as an artist or it goes on and it's performed by someone else and recorded in that. And I think that's kind of a superpower for you, Willie, because I'm trapped in that I'm writing for me. I'm writing songs for me to sing them. So then I'm limited by my own ability. Now I'm very fortunate to have ability, right? Not to the Michael Cagle level, but I can sing. I have a fairly large range. So, and a fairly large range of styles. And I think that may have been my hardest thing of like building a profile or building a portfolio rather, is that as a songwriter, I'm all over the place, right? I mean, I used to call my style of music rockabilly reggae funk, right? And then when that was too much of a mouthful, now I just call it modern gypsy rock, but still, what the hell is that? Right? Well, but what is it, right? What is it? And who am I? And Willie, I don't feel like you struggle with those things at all. You very clearly know who you are and how these songs are coming out. There's a very definitive lane for where that is and what they're coming out as. And I think that makes it easier. And maybe Brad, you can touch on this. And I know that, in your career, you've mostly worked with performers and on that side of it, but kind of asking you, I guess, to put in your, A&R hat here a little bit and to look at it as a songwriter and to go, what is the, I guess just give me your thoughts on it. I guess I don't even know the question I'm trying to formulate necessarily, but as someone who's looking at the artist as a whole, just as a songwriter, you know, what are kind of your takeaways and maybe some advice along that trope?
Yeah. So what I like about all of his songs, not just the last one, which the last one I thought was very touching, man. And I love hearing the story behind the song. I used to, you guys remember the old VH1 storytellers? That was actually one of my favorite things to watch, because I always love to hear, you know, how it came to be and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you sharing that and being vulnerable with us, even with that. And I think that really helps. But what I like about all of your songs is that they don't have a bunch of cliches in them. A lot of early songwriters tend to do that. I'm sure Michael can probably attest to that. And sometimes you have to kind of like beat that out of them a little bit, you know, to like get them to be descriptive and tell it in a way without saying, I went to a party last night. You know, you kind of tell them you know, had Jack Daniels in a solo cup, or, you know what I mean? Like you're telling them, but it's in more descriptive ways, and you're not going into the cliche side. And so I think you do that really well. And considering that you're so, you know, early in that songwriting phase of your career, I think that's impressive.
Well, I appreciate that. And actually, the first one I did, especially Cheyenne, was the first song I put to music. Yeah. It was so wordy, the first one I did, because I like put the whole poem in there and I moved it around, but I left the lyrics the same. And I was like, there's no way this doesn't flow right. So it took me, when I said there was 15 versions of Cheyenne's song on my Suno, because I changed the lyrics, and then, I like them lyrics now. Then I would change the rhythm of it. Then I would change the chord progression. So to me, I struggled with going too much into detail and it become too wordy. So that's where I've had to learn real quick and that's where Suno has helped me, because when the words come out on Suno, and I actually can hear the words in Suno, the rhythm and stuff. And I'm like, man, there's way too much he's biting there that's not going to flow.
Yeah.
And that's why also taking that and learning the bars, you know, most of them are on a 4-bar count, just because I'm older, into the old country, and most country is 4 bars, you know. So I've had to count my lyrics, especially now. I got some stuff that I have recorded on my phone that I've been singing the lyrics down, and I'm sitting here doing that 4-bar count, and I was like, okay, that's too wordy. Let's record it again and do it differently. So it's honestly, if it wasn't for my schooling, I would probably be very lengthy, horrible songs, because they would be way too wordy.
Well, you can tell that you spent some time on it then. I mean, you know, and it shows, in my opinion, because a lot of artists, you know, they'll just write it out, and maybe they don't take that time to do everything that you did and go through 15 different revisions of it. But that's what I've been impressed with, is that I know that you're fairly new to this, but you have stayed away from those cliches. And on the business side, like, and even from a fan, like when you start using a lot of those cliches, it kind of just shows inexperience. Doesn't mean that you're not good or anything, but you didn't have any of that in there, I thought. So I thought it was really, all of them have been really well put together. So I commend you on that for sure.
And I think part of that, what helps is that he does approach things from a storyteller perspective. And storytellers like to create, visual images, so that you're understanding this is a man, this is where he's standing, this is what he's facing, this is what, and they have to set that tone and description so that you can, physically, you can visually see
Yeah.
the person there. You can see
The imagery.
You could see Monkey in Cheyenne. You could see, you can see the mom standing in between. You've created that visual. That he's right. It's really hard to do. You definitely are a storyteller, which coupled with your ability to not be afraid to be authentic and real and say this is really a strength.
Willie needs to start his own record label so he can sit back in the studio that he built behind the board and be like, hey, great artist, I think you got a lot of talent. Here's a song I wrote. Go sing it like this, and I'm going to record it, and we're all going to create some really beautiful music.
Yeah. You're a really humble guy. And, I know you feel good about your accomplishments, but I really don't think you realize how good you really are.
I don't. I'll be honest, because
no.
I lay down. Okay.
Well, if he wasn't humble, he has that little girl to put him in his place.
I was going to say, she's just not going to let him have his spotlight right now. So.
But, not at all. Honestly, I don't even look at it as me, because I'm doing it for her. Like, I'm getting healing out of it. But I want to show her that you're never too late to chase your dreams. I've always had an interest in being a songwriter, to be 100% honest.
Right.
But I didn't know how to achieve it. And I believe, and it goes hand in hand with my podcast, that music heals. And I want my music to have that effect. When I find the perfect fit, almost like the Cinderella artist for my songs, I'll make sure that glass slipper fits. But I'm not. I've been told my music really good, and I don't deny it. But I don't know.
You just,
I'm a little unbelief, especially from coming someone like you, Michael, that the talent you have. No, hear me out. The talent you have, not just vocally but lyrically. So when someone tells me that,
believe it.
Some of it is okay, is it true, or are they just stroking my ego? And I'm being 100% honest, because a lot of it is.
Nobody's stroking you here, Willie. Not undeservedly, anyway.
You
earned these strokes.
Where I'm at. It's just growing up, people would stroke my ego to get something out of me,
We don't need to talk about
horrible with my hand movement. I realized that after the fact. But if they wanted something from me, they would. Cheyenne, your legs are perfectly fine.
It's falling off, Dad. At least that's what it sounds like from here. Well, since it's getting close to bedtime, we better play our one last song that we got for today, if that's all right with you, Willie. Tell us about this last one.
Watch your mouth. I will whoop you.
Uh-oh.
On air. We're doing this. We're doing it.
I was saying, oh shit.
Oh crap.
Public school, you gotta love it.
Okay, so this song is...
So this last song, Cheyenne, give me a minute. I'm almost done. What, sweetheart?
He's like, you said that a half hour ago.
Okay. This last song is one that I want JP to write. It's When the Hope Died. And the story
is it called When the Hope Died or When the Hope Dies Too? Because you have the file named.
It's When the Hope Died Too. I'm sorry.
Died or dies?
Get me on my own song. I'm sorry. But that's the short version of it. You know, When the Hope Died. Sorry, When the Hope Died Too. That is about watching me moving away from my dad because he was an alcoholic.
Okay.
And watching him when he would come around face that demon. And then years later, I'm in the midst of fighting that demon myself.
Oh.
So it kind of ties both perspectives into it.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about it before we let Cheyenne get any sleep tonight. This is When the Hope Died Too by Wild Willie.
I was 14 in a hospital room, watching life fade away too soon. Machines were whispering their goodbye, while mama tried so hard not to cry. Everyone said he'd fought so long against the demons that did him wrong. But all I could think standing there was the dad I hoped for wasn't getting here. 'Cause somewhere deep inside my heart, I believed he'd make a brand new start. I wasn't just watching my father die, I was watching all my hopes say goodbye. The hope he'd beat those bottles and pills, the hope he'd show up for me still. I dreamed he'd be the dad I needed, the one addiction almost defeated. But when he took his final breath, that dream was buried in that death. Buried in that death. People said, son, you'll understand someday when you're a grown man. But 14 don't see grace that way. 14 just sees a man who couldn't stay. I was angry at the world that day, angry he couldn't find a way, angry at the silence in that room and the life that ended way too soon. So I ran from the pain inside with every poison I could find. I wasn't just watching my father die, I was watching all my hopes say goodbye. The hope he beat those bottles and pills, the hope he'd sew up for me still. I dreamed he'd be the dad I needed, the one addiction almost defeated. But when he took his final breath, that dream was buried in that death. That dream was buried in that death. Years went by through smoke and rain, trying to numb a boyhood pain. But somewhere in the wreckage of my life, I saw the struggle in my own fight. And I realized through tears and scars, he fought a battle that was hard. And maybe the man he wished to be still lives somewhere inside of me. I wasn't just watching my father die, I was watching all my hopes say goodbye. I wasn't just watching my father die. I wasn't just watching my father die. I wasn't just watching my father die. I wasn't just watching. watching my
Powerful stuff, Willie.
Cheyenne, turn the iPad down, please.
All right. So repeat after me.
Repeat after me. Repeat after me.
I
I
am an amazing mother.
wait. You are amazing. You are amazing.
Dude, you are without a doubt a tremendous lyricist. You're, and I can't call you a songwriter because you're composing these as well. You're putting the arrangements together, the chords, and and that's amazing. You are one hell of a songwriter. I really honestly mean that. I cannot stress enough to you how, and I agree 1000% with Brad. It is just authentic, real, hits right, and it's like watching an artist on a canvas painting, and they know exactly what they want it to look like, and they grab all the things they need to draw and to paint, and that's what you've done. You are absolutely, without a doubt, for you to call yourself a sound technician over being a songwriter, you would have to be John Williams, because it's just your songwriting ability is absolutely incredible.
Well,
Yeah, I think you really proved something here tonight in sharing deeper in the catalog. And I went through, and I don't know if I listened to all 13 that you had put in the folder, but I listened to a good chunk of them. And when I got to this one, I texted you immediately and told you exactly what I told you now. That's a powerful song. It's a powerful moment because it's something that whether you're 14 or you're 40 or you're 60, eventually all of us are going to watch our parents go. Right. Or most of us. And you hit on something there that and dealing with repeating the sins of the father as well. You kind of touched on as well in that. And yeah, I have to second everything that Michael says. You're severely underrating yourself as a songwriter, and just to say that you're just a sound guy. Well, maybe you were. Maybe a year ago you were just a sound guy. You hadn't fleshed this part of you out yet, but you are very much a songwriter now, and I'm really happy that you took a chance on yourself and put yourself into school, because you didn't need to. You didn't need to do that to go be a sound guy in the backwoods of Missouri. You were already on that path before you do that.
I ain't a sound guy. I'm a sound engineer. You can't call me a sound guy if I.
Hey, I'm using your words. I'm using your words. And we're going back.
You can't get on to me. You can't get on to me.
Here's the bottom line. Ready? I don't care what you call yourself. When I look at you, I'm going to see a songwriter. That your impact of what you have just displayed totally changes my entire perspective of you. Like, I can't look at you and not view you as a hell of a songwriter, as a fellow artist, as someone that is really somehow risen to the top. I mean, your stuff is really amazing. And okay, sound engineer, but you are a songwriter that does sound engineering. That's just the way it is. I mean, there's just no way around it. None.
And that means a lot. It really does. Sorry, that song had me choked up.
Yeah.
I don't listen to that one a whole lot, and that's why. But I appreciate that. And a little bit more of the backstory is to that song is when he had at the time of he passing away, he had quit drinking. He was coming back to Missouri. He was going to move closer to us kids, and that hope was just a tree fell on him. And on September 4th of 2004, he took his last breath. At 14, I literally watched my dad die. And I had already been drinking at that point to escape the abuse that I dealt with at home. But that drove me into pills, other addictions. Thankfully, I didn't get hooked on anything. And I tried several things more than once just to see if it wasn't the first time. And, but I found my vice. My vice was alcohol. And I was at a point in my life where I was really proud of it because I could outdrink anybody that come to the table. And I was like,
you're a big ass dude.
well, even if I wasn't, I was.
Well, there was no amount of alcohol that was going to drown the pain of getting the shit kicked out of you and your home, and then losing your father when you thought you were, for the first time really in your life, getting the father you felt like you deserved.
Yeah.
And to have that kind of ripped away from you, that's tough. Of course, this song would choke you up. But I think that's exactly to Michael's point. That's how we know you're a songwriter, because you were able to take all of that pain and get it out of you into words. And maybe you didn't like grab a guitar like I would, or sit at a piano and flesh all of that out in the moment, but you wrote the words down that eventually became this beautiful song and would no doubt resonate with others, right? Like it resonated with all three of us sitting here. Plus, I know Jeremy, chimed in with the comments as well. Like, you're doing what every songwriter wishes to do, which is to connect their experience with others' experience.
I'm just glad I snuck in because like I said, I feel like I know you better. Not that I didn't like you, not that I didn't respect it, but I really had no clue, and I don't think you really do either, how really effective of a sound guy. How stop it! Yeah. Fuck. Shit. Uncle Michael's swearing.
No, she's throwing her shoes. She's like, I'm taking my shoes off. So I have you try to be serious, and I have her throwing shoes at me.
No, I'm glad you came in too, Michael, and that's why when I saw you in the comments, knowing a little bit of what tonight was going to be, like I said, Willie sent me the catalog that he's been building, and he's definitely got this bug now where getting them out from just words and knowing that he has the skills now to get them into songs, he's really taking off and creating them and moving. And I don't know if it leads to him writing, more in this moment and continuing on and doing that, but he's built himself a nice little catalog of songs already that all of them are pretty darn good. And the only thing that he lacks in is the confidence to look at his songs and go, no, these are pretty damn good.
No, I get it. Listen, I've already had my ego stroke. I do home help for my cousin without going into details because I can't. And he's music inclined, and he loves music. Like, can't play, but he loves music. He dances, bounces in his chair. And if it's bad, he'll be like, input.
I love you. We love you too, Cheyenne. You are the highlight of my
Yeah.
week on
He
air.
will,
I love
If you
you.
don't
Here's
like
that
the song-
shoe.
if he don't like a song, he'll point at the TV because I play everything through YouTube or Spotify or whatever. And he'll point at the TV and he'll go, and you know he wants to change the song. Well, I give him a shower on Thursdays, and my aunt got one of them Bluetooth speakers that you can connect your phone to the vent fan and it Bluetooths the music. And first time I put on the songs and he's jamming out to them. So I was like, okay, so maybe, that was my first stroke of my ego that he ain't telling me no and changing the song. So it must be okay. But, obviously my end goal is, let's just face it, I'm a people's person. If Michael could get me to where I could perform and wholeheartedly sound good at doing it, wholeheartedly, I would ditch sound engineering.
Now he wants to be a rock star, Michael. That's where we've gotten to now.
He
says if you give him 1,000 free hours of vocal lessons,
listen, we might change some music for some singing lessons, okay? No.
No. Okay, listen. Here's the deal. Here's the dilemma. You have presented the songs to us as the way you hear them in your head.
Yeah.
So my job as any type of vocal coach would be like if somebody came to me and they were a low alto and they wanted to sing, something from the Phantom of the Opera. And they're like, I heard you're a good coach, so you make me sing like, Christine and Phantom. You have written music that would be hard for a professional singer to sing.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I can't say that it couldn't happen, but as I've always told somebody, and there are teachers out there that are like, if you work with me, I can teach you how to hit the biggest, highest notes for as long as you want. And, no note is out of reach, because that's bullshit. You can't make a tuba a flute. I don't give a shit how much you try. I don't care what you paint it. A tuba is a tuba. It's not ever going to sound like a flute. So,
see, and I know this.
That would be the hard thing is we could get you to sing the songs, but we would have to arrange them in a way that you really shine. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't, honestly. There is one, two.
Diane's gonna sing one for you, Dad. She's trying to show
the
you.
thing is, I know I couldn't sing any of these. And it ain't that I want you to get me to where I can sing Little Sam Second Chances, okay? I want to know where my level is. So then I can start making stuff to that level to where I can still put stuff out that other people can sing, but I can also write my own stuff, and if I desire to pursue that. But let's just be honest. I am a people person, and we know I would work the crowd.
You're so cute.
I have an ego. Where do you think Wild Willie come from? I have an ego, okay?
I wasn't asking
this
any questions.
ego would and I think my daughter's developing the ego too, to be honest.
She's like, okay, so here's the deal. I would love to sit down and work with you, and I heard enough to know that there's something there. I also know that you were scared shitless, and so you're not gonna fully give me.
You were getting threatened with a shoe while you were trying to do it as well. So
not just that,
serious direct.
Put on the spot. Somebody won't mention any names. Won't mention any names. Put me on the spot.
Wow.
I thought you performed admirably.
I thought you did, but Bubba, don't do that to him again.
Well, it's been awesome sharing this evening with you guys, Michael and Brad. You've become such good friends of ours over the last several months. Obviously, Willie and I haven't even known each other for a full year yet, which just seems bananas.
That I would not believe.
No,
we fell in pretty quick together when we landed at the. Do you know our origin story, Michael? Have we told that to you with you on?
Not fully.
Okay, so I was out on tour last summer and was coming through Arkansas, and we stayed a night in Memphis, and then I was scheduled to make an appearance at Vibe Fest, which was in Summersville, Missouri, a little bit south of where Willie lives, but he was supposed to be the sound guy. And as soon as I showed up and saw the equipment that he had, you were a sound guy then. Pump your freaking brakes. I showed up with most of the equipment that we needed to actually run the show, and realizing that I wasn't coming to him from a place of I'm better than you or that I know better, was like, hey, this is how I think we should do it. Lean on my decades of experience in this realm. I'm not trying to take away you running the soundboard from you, but let me help you. I have this truck full of equipment. Let me set it up. Let me help you. Let me be an extra set of eyes and ears and do what I can to do that. And I think there was a lot of growth, and we just fell in. You know how it is in the music world, Michael. When you fall in with someone and you realize you're not just the shared mission at hand, but your shared values as men. And spending 2 weeks sweating, or 2 days, 3 days sweating it out in the midsummer Missouri stickiness, you get to know the measure of a man. And Willie was just a joy to work with and to work alongside. He took direction very well. And then in leaving there, he was, hey, hon. He was like, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. And it was, my podcast was, I guess, over a year old at that point, technically speaking. But I was really coming into my own then of going, no, this isn't just for me. This is for anyone. And knowing how well Willie had done with all of the artists on the stage and his passion for the independent music scene. And Willie, when he had come to me with the idea for his show, is like bringing on artists, but really bringing on anyone that music had saved them, had affected them, and had pulled them out of a darkness and into the light. And I was like, it's a great idea for a show.
And he gave me a huge push.
Yeah, and it took a lot because he's a big guy. Smaller now. I know you've been losing a lot of weight, Willie, and congratulations to you. I will say that when I saw you in Detroit, you looked fantastic in a suit jacket as well. Looked even better when you got to step on stage and accept your award. And it's one of the highlights of my year so far, and will be through the end of it, to be able to stand up there and to call your name and to hand that trophy to you and to watch you deliver your acceptance speech. That's a major highlight for me, and to deliver that, and to be there, it was important. It's important for people to be recognized for what they do. And Michael, not to make it about you here as well, but a big congratulations to you on the recognition that you've been receiving, not just from us here at the Scene Projects, but worldwide with these different, awards that you've been receiving. And the recognition is everything. And it's why we do what we do, right? Like, it's why we're all here, is to see each other, is to pat each other on the back and to stroke whatever we're stroking here at this point. It matters.
No, we got a problem.
It matters. It matters in the wider world. Outwardly, it matters inwardly, to build that confidence and to be able to grow now as an artist yourself, Willie, as a songwriter. I think is going to be really incredible to watch, because I think you're off to one hell of a start.
They're amazing. I would never have ever guessed. Although he did say he's been doing poem writing, poetry, and a lot of these came from that. There is, but I would never have imagined that this wasn't somebody that had been songwriting for well into a decade and just hadn't done anything with it, because it's incredible stuff.
Listen, I owe some of that to you, Michael. No, your songs that you played on Love Noise are kind of what originally got my wheels turning.
Wow.
Because I related to your music and your story behind your music. It may not have been that country genre that I like, but I related nonetheless. But so then that got my wheels turning. And then I get into these classes like principles of recording and principles of music and counting bars and charting songs. And the first time I messaged Bubba and I was like, how do I do this? So, to me, it's about growth and challenging myself. Right. Because when I went to Bubba about doing the podcast, he told me not to rip off Nike, but just do it. 3 days after that conversation, my first episode went out. Hey, what in the world? Settle down over there. But if you jump on my bed, I'm taking the iPad.
She'd had it now. She's
she is now saying, I'm in charge. I have sat and waited.
That's right. I've been more than
jump
patient,
on my bed. I'm taking the iPad.
Then you better stop. Oh, he broke
well,
out the
before
iPad,
Willie has to beat a small child, I think.
But, hold on, we'll say one thing real quick. On my version of what Bubba said is when we met at Vibe Fest, he was real. Like, he come to me, we used some of his equipment, some of my equipment, and we made a really good set, a really good team. And when he come to me, I was hired to run the sound. I didn't know they were expecting Bubba to help at first. So it was kind of a surprise, but
I don't think they were either, but I had way better equipment. That's what it came down to.
You really did. And you had the knowledge, but he come to me where he wasn't arrogant and he was real with me. He ran me through everything beforehand during what people we had there. And he says, all right, so just turn this level down, do this, do that. You're getting too many mids here, too many highs.
Well, I will take my half of that sound engineer of the award then, since you're telling me that I taught you everything you knew.
You didn't teach me everything, but you helped refine it. Because up to this point, I had been self-taught. I've had few people along the way give me pointers. But I had a basic
running
knowledge.
sound for karaoke and running it for a festival full of rappers, it's a much different story.
But as a sound guy, back then, I was just that. I was a sound guy. I wouldn't classify myself as anything but a sound guy.
Okay.
But the knowledge that I have achieved through Bubba and now through my school.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wholeheartedly, I'm a sound engineer. But when I met Bubba, he was one of them people that I met and I felt like I knew my whole life.
It was definitely a past life kind of moment, Michael, and it was really and now look what's come of it. Willie, through thick and thin of this network, has been the only one really from that time that has never left. He's always been right there. He's been personally monetarily invested in this thing from his kind of first moments in this, and continues to be, and what we're growing here, and maybe everyone doesn't see it, and I'll do my best to kind of lay my vision out, but our ability within the scene projects, with the academy, with the management side, with, you know, Brad and Music Mogul AI and Phoenix Rise and AJ. And what we're building here is to be able to take someone from, I want to be a performer and I've never sung a song in my life. You can literally fall into our family and we can take you from that all the way through to being a touring artist. Now, that's not to say that it's going to happen overnight or even within the span of a year or even 3 years. But I think within 5 years, anyone who was willing to put that effort in, we have all of the resources now in our community. And I think, to me, that's what I was always trying to prove, is like my network and the people around me are more than talented enough and are more than knowledgeable enough to be able to bring anyone up a level. And it's all, some of us are at different levels ourselves in there. And I think that's the beauty of the Academy, is that we have people that can work with beginners, but we have people that can work with the upper echelon of any artistry. And it's a beautiful realization that the world is going to come to, that we're watching kind of flesh itself out in real time on Wednesday nights and on every day at 10 a.m. Now we're back to the regularly scheduled time. Thank God, Michael. And we're getting geography and world, you know, lessons here, that in Britain and Ireland, they change times twice a year, right? So get ready. They change time again in the summer as well, and then fall back 2 time zones. So, but they're 2 weeks behind us. So I told Michael I told AJ today, we're running on US time now from now on. That's all there is to it. And you have to adjust.
Yeah,
because none of your UK people are tuning in anyway.
Yeah. It's all the state people. Hey guys, I have to go. I am so glad I jumped in at the last minute, or when I saw this going on. Willie, seriously, I'm really proud of you. And
I'm gonna call you tomorrow. Answer my phone call. Save my number so you know it ain't telemarketing.
Thanks for joining in today, man. I appreciate
you.
Good
to see you, Brad.
I'm on mute. Sorry. Thank you as well. I was on mute.
All right, guys. Take care.
See ya.
See you soon. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
I love this family. Brad, any parting shots from you, even though you get the last word on every episode of Love Noise with your beautiful mug on our outro, but anything for the young Willie here in his career?
I just recommend that you keep going. You know, maybe dig in a little bit, man. Like he said, you are a songwriter and you need to keep going with that. Stick with it.
Yeah, if Full Sail offers any songwriting courses that you can take to add into all of the other stuff that you're doing, might be worth looking into, right? Hone that skill, sharpen that sword, man. You're off to a hell of a start.
Yep.
I appreciate that, guys. I really do. And thanks, Nate. They were talking. I didn't want to be rude. Thanks for the compliment.
We ain't never getting rich. There's no money in music, but he might be a little more famous than he is now. And how much more famous can you get in a town of 350?
Listen, I don't live in that town anymore, but I'm very popular.
There's 1,000 people in my town now.
I don't know how many people are in Salem, to be honest. Hey, Siri, what's the population of Salem, Missouri? There's 4,600 people in Salem.
Ooh, we living in a big city.
It is, when you're used to 390 or 50 people. It used to be 351, but the town dog died.
Awesome show, Willie. Thank you for being courageous enough to not just share your songs, but to sing a little bit for us tonight, to really put yourself out there in a different light. I think all of us are obviously used to you being producer extraordinaire and podcaster and sound engineer of the year. but to see you in this light, to learn a little bit more of your story and to have it shared in song, I think is so much more powerful. So appreciate you, brother. It's been a joy tonight.
And I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me share and all the positive and feedback.
Awesome.
Keep it up.
Yeah. For my co-host Brad Stewart and our co-host / guest tonight, Wild Willie, my name is Bubba Starts. You've been tuning in to the Scene Projects TV, and we're so grateful to have you here as a part of Love Noise, presented by the Midwest Original Music Organization. It's been an incredible night tonight, and I'm really grateful that we all got to share it. A shout out to Michael Cagle for jumping out there with us, and everybody for tuning in. Jeremy here in South Dakota, Nate down there in Missouri as well, my wife Danielle, and we had a couple of special first-time tuners in as well with Sheena and Angela. So appreciate everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next Wednesday on Love Noise. Make sure you're tuning into the Scene Projects YouTube channel tomorrow for another episode of Unsigned Spotlight with Michael Cagle and, of course, our brother AJ Waller across the pond. And we are very, very grateful for everyone that continues to be part of this growing community. It's our pleasure to keep bringing independent music to the forefront of culture. And we ain't stopping now. So love you guys. Have a great night. And we'll see you next time on Love Noise.
Yep. They say the music industry is open now, but if you're an independent artist or a DJ trying to scale, you know the truth. The gatekeepers didn't disappear. They just moved behind a curtain of data and consolidation. Hello, my name is Brad Stewart. I'm the founder of Music Mogul AI and Stewart Entertainment Agency. For 20 years, I sat at every seat at the table as a booking agent, a publisher, a publicist, a business manager, a consultant, and even as a mentor. I've worked with over 300 artists, from hungry up-and-comers to Grammy winners. After the world stopped in 2020, I went looking for the tools to run my agency for this new world. However, I found nothing that fit. Everything was fragmented. Every team was disconnected. And while the major labels were building monopolies to crush the middle class of music, the rest of us were left with spreadsheets and prayers. That's why I built Music Mogul AI. But I didn't want to just build another productivity tool. I wanted to build an architecture, a way for the independent musicians, the bands, and the DJs to move with the same efficiency and intelligence as a major label, but without selling their soul. We've taken 2 decades of high-level industry strategy and fused it with a proprietary AI to create a central nervous system for your career. It's the efficiency that I needed with Stewart Entertainment Agency, now refined into a weapon for you. But here's the catch. Music Mogul AI isn't for everyone. We aren't a mass market subscription service. We are a premier tech-forward partner. Our consulting is baked into the software because tools don't win wars. Generals do. We are hand-selecting a limited cohort of artists and DJs who are ready to stop playing industry and start building an empire. We are licensing this technology even to major agencies next year. But for right now, the advantage belongs to the independents. If you're tired of the fragmentation and you're ready to reclaim your time and your trajectory, click the link below, apply to join Music Mogul AI's ecosystem, and let's stop asking for a seat at the table and start building our own. I'll see you on the inside.